Hello everyone in Oneness. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am Jessica Delmar. I wanted to put this video out to kind of look into the energies of not only November's Ascension energy update, but of Halloween, because it's October 31st, and this time of year always kind of opens up this intense mystery and power that goes beyond the veil and beyond what we can physically see. So I'm just going to pull a few cards and see what comes through. The very first thing in terms of Halloween and November energy that was coming through was the word alchemy. Powerful time of transmuting energy and playing with energy to create something new. And this very much goes into the information that I'm talking about in my 5D Meridian System series on YouTube. There are 2 parts so far, and I'm going to put out a 3rd video sometime next week talking more about this 5D light meridian system in the 5D form and all of the changes that are happening in the 5D form, basically absorbing and receiving and giving, and this whole cycle of the way that energy flows in the form, not only in the physical but the energetic form. It becomes so much greater and grander. It becomes so much more balanced in this greater perspective of how the energy is flowing for you. And what was coming through in that video series is that part of the balancing of energy is the taking apart of the 3D systems and belief systems and thought forms and programs, deconstructing all of that, taking it all apart, which shifts your perspective. It shifts your views upon what you once believed in. And then once everything is taken apart, and in that process of shifting your views and perspectives, then it's put back together again in a more open space of 5D with belief systems that more align to your new adapted belief system through this ascension journey and this process. And this has a lot to do with this alchemical energy happening on Halloween and November ascension energy, because it's kind of saying when you take everything apart and you're looking at everything on the table, like all the puzzle pieces on the table, what you once thought all of the puzzle pieces were put together to form your former belief system or your former ideology or your former program or whatever it was in 3D. Now that you see all of the pieces laid out in front of you, deconstructed, now it's the time to play with it. It's time to bring in this energy of alchemy to create something new or create many, many new things from all of these puzzle pieces in front of you. Because this is a powerful time of reconstructing your belief systems moving into 5D. It's about tapping into the greater whole to feed your belief systems rather than tapping into the energy of duality. Because in 3D, duality feeds your belief system. Separation feeds your belief system. In 5D, wholeness feeds your belief system. Oneness feeds your belief system. The core of source energy feeds your belief system. And so it's kind of asking you at this time, with this November Ascension energy and Halloween, to figure out, what is it? What is your new belief system? And moving into 5D, yes, it's about oneness, it's about wholeness and embracing that, but we still have our own unique belief systems. We still are our own unique persons and individuals. And so it's like still in 5D, there may be things that I believe in that someone else may not believe in. And that's totally fine, because all of it adds to the greater whole. Duality exists in the greater whole. Dark and light, yin and yang, all exist in the greater whole. And part of the deconstructing of the 3D belief systems, programs, and patterns is really tapping into that understanding that if you take a belief system from 3D that was rooted or grounded in maybe a lower vibrational duality energy, and you take it apart in where you are right now in your ability to deconstruct that idea, pattern, or belief system, then the greater energy, the guides, want you to see it as not from a place of duality or separation, but see this deconstructed pieces in front of you from a place of the lens of source, from the eyes of source, meaning that dark and light is not necessarily good and bad. It's not duality based. It all stems from the energy of source, from the energy of oneness. And so even if you may have thought things were lower vibrational or dark energy in 3D, when you deconstruct everything and you have all the pieces in front of you, then it's not necessarily dark energy or lower vibration that you're seeing in front of you, but it is dark energy and it is lower vibration, but it's part of the greater whole. It adds to the energy of wholeness. And so even though, yes, there may be low vibrational energy in the deconstructed pieces in front of you, you're not viewing it with attachment to that low vibrational energy. You're viewing it as low vibrational energy connected to something greater, connected to the bigger puzzle, which is oneness. And so there's no attachment there that will drag you into that specific puzzle piece, that deconstructed piece that has low vibration. You're able to see it from that greater perspective. What's coming through is seeing from the greater perspective, or sensing from the greater perspective, all the deconstructed pieces in front of you assists in that alchemical process. You are alchemizing thought form, or shifting thought form, thought which stems from energy. All is energy, all stems from energy. Even like all of the physical forms that you see in front of you are all energy. And when you shift the seed of that energy, meaning that if you have physical manifestations in front of you that do not serve you and are undesirable, things that you don't want to experience, it's pulling me all the way back to the seed of energy that is within you, that everything is projected from. And so we are shifting that seed of energy, which is ultimately your connection to the source within, that source seed, and shifting everything that is projected from that seed. It is a seed of thought is what's coming through, and it feeds your physical mind. And for you to understand that your mind is simply projecting your reality based upon thought that stems from something much deeper, then you're going to understand how your world is created for you. You're going to understand how you can shift that world that's being created for you just by shifting, going backwards into those Russian dolls in terms of understanding your mind connected to that seed of thought within. By shifting that seed of thought, then everything else, all the exterior Russian dolls, all the other projections that come outside or come from or project outward from that seed of thought will shift as well. And so this is part of the gift card that came through. It is, you are going inward, 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 inward. If you think of that Russian dolls, all the way inward into that seed of thought, which is your connection to the source within. This is the process that people are going through right now in this 4D realm, in the portal between 3D and 5D. Understanding the micro and the macro helps you to understand your power to shift energy, which is the process of, which is alchemy, and your ability to play with energy and shift energy. Because then as you shift energy, everything manifested for you will shift. It's a time for new growth card, a new crop. Embrace change card coming through reversed. It's saying a shift in the wind, a massive shift in the wind in your external things that are manifesting for you in your physical, but it's always wanting you to connect. Now connect the Russian dolls, connect inward and outward, micro and macro, meaning that even though massive shifts are going to be happening in your external reality, whether it's in your direct reality or the collective reality that's playing out on that greater stage, there is new growth happening. So if you're able to connect to the inner source seed within, then you're able to understand the physical reality that's manifesting for you. Meaning that, again, if things are undesirable, shift the energy from within so that it can project a new projection for you. You can also help this on a collective level, because I feel like there are going to be a lot of collective big changes on the global scale. And so we are projecting images into physical manifestation for our own individual realities, as well as a collective thought form, projecting into the collective experience, collective physical experience. And so the Embrace Change card, I'm just diving a little bit deeper. It's calling for you to embrace the ebb and flow of your reality, of your emotions, of the energy moving through you, of your physical manifestations. Embrace all of the change, embrace ebb and flow, because that will help sink you further and further into your connection to the source within that seed. It's going to help loosen resistance and blockage, because for a lot of people, they can't go into those inner Russian dolls, into the very, very inward, into the seed, because there's a lot of blockage preventing them from even accessing that seed. But right now, the veil is thin, especially with this Halloween time. So, and moving into November, the veil is thin, so you have the ability to access this inner seed really, really easily. It's just that you have to make that intention. You have to get into the space of allowing yourself to connect into that space. You have to put down the resistance. You have to move into more ease and flow. You have to move with the ebb and flow of things, and that will then sweep you up into connecting to that seed of thought, of source thought, which you can shift through alchemy and your ability to shift energy, which will then shift all the projections in front of you, manifesting for you. But this Embrace Change card is coming through reverse, because it's a reminder to be in that space of allowance and ease and flow, so that you can connect to that source within, you can connect to that seed. And because the veil is thin, it's so easy to connect. But the physical reality in front of you may create resistance, or with all these changes going on, you may forget, or you may it's like trying to distract you from connecting inward to that seed of thought, the source seed. And so it's saying, don't worry about all the changes happening in front of you. Don't worry about whatever is manifesting in front of you in your physical individual reality or the collective reality. Focus on your connection to the source within. Focus on that seed of thought. Go inward, ebb and flow, ease and allow. Release the resistance, and then it'll help you to shift the energy, which will then shift the physical manifestations once again into, going back to the new growth card, into what you are desiring to create, into the crop that you want to harvest, and the benefits that you want to reap for yourself. But don't be distracted. They're saying there's going to be distractions, whether it's now in November or in the future. This portal that we're moving into, especially in 4D, moving into 5D, don't be distracted by whatever is physically manifested for you, because that's already a physical manifestation of what was once thought in that seed form, in that thought form, or in the mind. That's already done. So we want to shift it by shifting the thought forms and the seed of thoughts that are now being projected into what we would call the future. And so by giving more attention on the distractions that are already manifested, all of those seeds of thought that have already gone out and to be manifested, then we're just adding more focus and attention to all of the distractions and to all of the things that may not necessarily serve us in the way that we want to begin creating for ourselves in this new space of more of a 5D space. So just keep that in mind, because the discernment card also coming out as well, kind of tying in everything, the distractions. Use your discernment in terms of, yes, distractions, whatever in your physical experience or in the collective experience, distractions, but keep your eye on the prize. The prize is your connection to your inner source within, that seed of thought that you are shifting in order to manifest physical projections and manifestations into where you're headed, not where you've already been, because where you've already been is already physically manifested for you in your now moment and in the collective's now moment. So we're shifting our focus into where we're going by shifting that energy of the seed of thought within, your connection to the source within. How do we do that? This goes back into what we were talking about in the beginning. When you see, for example, things that are already physically manifested for you, or emotions or thought forms that you already have, we want to dive deeper. So that's part of the Russian doll thing. It's part of opening up the next layer to go inward, inward, inward. You have to first address what maybe is in front of you, if it's holding your attention, if it's something that you are focused on, if it's something that is heavy in your energetic and physical experience. That is where you can begin your deconstruction of thought form or pattern or program. Lay it out in front of you, see with the eyes of source, take it apart, put all the pieces in front of you and view from the eyes of source, which means do not view from a state of duality or separation. View through the lens of oneness. View how all these things that no longer serve you, you can deconstruct it to connect to past things and all of that, or you can deconstruct it to connect to other family members or relationships or whatever, past experiences, whatever. But essentially, everything is there for your greater expansion through your experience. And so even though on the table of puzzle pieces, there may be a lot of puzzle pieces that you don't like and you don't enjoy in your physical experience, you can see through the eyes of source, through the eyes of oneness, how, yes, even though these are undesirable things, these are manifestations of thoughts and patterns, especially thought forms that you once had. So they have already physically manifested for you or are physically manifesting for you. So now we're going to change all of this by going inward and changing that thought form from this new deconstructed place. Because by laying everything out in front of you, just that process alone brings in more understanding of your reality, connected into that greater vortex of oneness. How, yes, dark and light both exist in oneness. Positive and negative both exist in oneness. Good and bad both exist in oneness. Feminine and masculine both exist in oneness. Everything exists in oneness. And you can only really connect to that inner seed of thought, that source seed, if you get into a place of being okay that everything just is. Everything is presenting itself for you, but part of that greater wholeness. When you can surrender into where you are, it eases your connection to the source within it. It drops the resistance. It drops everything that's preventing you from going further into those Russian dolls. And so when things are undesirable on the table in front of you, all the puzzle pieces, surrender, because the more you focus on it, the more that you're going to continue manifesting it from that seed of thought. So you just surrender into accepting what is from a place of wholeness, meaning understanding that all these things that are undesirable are helping to aid in your expansion in some way. When you're in the space of the deconstructed realm seeing with the eyes of Source, try to understand those undesirable situations, places, things, people, how they have aided in your expansion. And just that alone shifts your perspective in massive ways. That's also part of the discernment card, is when you have all the pieces deconstructed in front of you, it's, the discernment between dark and light. You're in that space of seeing things for what they are from that greater perspective, so that you're not in the trenches with all of those emotions, energies, frequencies, vibrations, and allowing whatever to overpower you, whether dark or light. You're seeing with that greater perspective so that you're not attached to it. And that's part of the energy of discernment. So October 31st, November Ascension energy, a portal into helping you open up into that new thought form, connect further into that seed, that source seed within, to help shift the energy that's being projected from that source seed into your physical manifestations, not only for yourself, but for the collective as well. And like the new growth card, you'll begin seeing the new growth. You'll be seeing manifestations of the shifts of that seed within in the upcoming projections that are occurring for you. It may not be right away, because November is very much about digging further into that seed and shifting through that alchemical process of shifting and working with energy, playing with energy. And so 2020 is very much kind of like the project where we'll see the manifestation of those projections that we're shifting right now by digging deeper into that seed within, connecting further to that source seed. This is something coming up right now, and it's actually going to be, I'm going to go further into it in the next video, part 3 of the 5D light meridian system next week. But they're bringing my attention to a Merkaba space that connects between the heart and the throat. And basically, the heart and the throat Merkaba opens up peace in the heart, which opens up peace in expression. And I'll talk more about it in next week's video. But basically, what's coming through in terms of energy of November and October 31st, Halloween, is the opening for a lot of people, kind of establishing and activating the 5D form and the 5D meridian system. That Merkaba is really opening for a lot of people. And what came through in that video for next week is all of these different Merkabas opening within the physical form, or within the 5D form, in order to open more balance in the physical and energetic bodies. And like I said, there is a Merkaba sort of around the heart and the throat area that's opening in the 5D form for a lot of people. So be sure to watch the video next week. It'll make a little bit more sense, because I'll go more into that meridian system and all of the different Merkabas. And that's what needed to come through for October 31st, Halloween, and opening into November Ascension energy. Some updates to go over. For November, I have a couple of one-on-oneness client session slots available if you want to work one-on-one with me. I only take a few of those a month, and I have a couple of slots left. So if you feel called to work with me, I'd love to work with you. I'll put a link below to sign up. Another thing is, in the past couple of months, what's been coming through my divine guidance is intuitively working with earth oils, also known as essential oils, which are basically very concentrated forms of nature holding potent vibrational frequencies of nature. And with all of this work and information coming through about the meridian points in my latest YouTube series, my divine guidance has also been working with me in terms of utilizing these earth oils to help open up meridian points, open up energetic portals, the Merkabas, vortexes within the body, also to help with the 3D chakra system and the movement from 3D into 4D into 5D body, because there is so many shifts and changes that the physical form goes through to open up that more balanced state of the 5D form. But it's a very rocky road, and we're utilizing as many tools as possible to help us in that transition. And for myself, I've gone through and I've worked with so many different tools, such as sound healing and crystals, food, water, movement, symbols, chants, Earth Gaia herself. And right now, it's really kind of coming into my awareness, teaching me how to use earth oils as another tool to add to the belt of many tools to help assist in the physical and energetic ascension of the body and shifting of the body into 5D. And so I've been playing around with earth oils, and in November I plan on putting some things together and hopefully sharing with everyone and getting it out there for other people to connect with as well. And I'll make an announcement over on my email list. So if you are interested in these earth oils, custom blends, and intuitive blends, divinely guided to create from my inner guidance, then sign up for my email list on my website. I'll put a link to that below because I'll probably announce it there first. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Enjoy your November. Enjoy the shifting of the winds, which is pushing you into this new growth that you've been desiring to manifest. Together with you in Oneness, I'm Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.